Is the WNBA about to lose its most valuable player, Caitlin Clark? And if so, can the league survive without her? Caitlin Clark has hit her breaking point. After carrying her team through a grueling WNBA season, she's officially done. So, what happens now? The WNBA, once revitalized by her presence,
not watching anymore now that Caitlin is eliminated. Hilarious. See you next season. We ain't watching anymore.
is facing half-empty arenas and games that no one seems to care about. Without Clark, they're back to where they started, struggling to fill seats, losing viewers, and grappling for relevance. The only player who brought consistent attention and excitement to the league might be gone. Now the league must figure out how to move forward without her.
I am upset about it. It's like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays.
The real question is, how did the WNBA let this happen? Caitlin Clark's incredible season. Clark's journey this season has been nothing short of extraordinary. In her rookie year, she was a force to be reckoned with.
Kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie.
Leading her team, the Indiana Fever, into the playoffs. Despite the Fever's eventual loss to the Connecticut Sun, Clark gave everything she had, dropping 29 points, 10 assists, and grabbing 7 rebounds. She was a one-woman show.
And voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me. And opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." That's what Caitlin Clark...
Dragging her team on her back while her teammates, including veterans like Kelsey Mitchell and Victoria Vivians, struggled to deliver.
Clark is Kunta Clark. She's the actual slave that everybody else is exploiting for their benefit. Angel Reese included at the top of that.
For a rookie, Clark's performance was remarkable, but it was also clear she was in the wrong environment. A talented player like her should have had the support of a team built around her strengths.
Just not built for the physicality of this league.
Yeah,
and she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality.
Yet instead, she was left isolated. It was obvious Clark didn't just have to outplay her opponents. She had to overcome the physicality of the league, the lack of adequate support, and a system that didn't protect her from the aggressive playstyle she often faced. The rough reality of the WNBA, Clark's frustrations began to mount as the season progressed. She openly spoke about how the league's officiating allowed too much physicality, saying she felt like she was constantly getting hammered by her opponents, while referees turned a blind eye. It's no wonder Clark's frustration boiled over during the playoffs, as she was continuously knocked around without receiving any calls in her favor. The real kicker? Clark wasn't just a player to watch, she was the player who brought viewers to the WNBA. Indiana Fever games, which once drew a meager 3,000 fans, suddenly saw 15,000-strong crowds whenever Clark took the court. Her games were must-see TV, and she single-handedly boosted attendance by over 400%. The league, however, seemed to take her for granted. The financial impact of Clark's departure, with Clark potentially leaving, the WNBA is staring down a financial meltdown. During her rookie season, Clark's presence generated over $5 million in ticket sales for the Indiana Fever alone. Her games were pulling in over 1.8 million TV viewers, more than some NBA matchups. Clark was more than a star. She was the league's financial lifeline. But now, the league's future without her looks bleak. Ticket sales will plummet, viewership will decline, and the excitement she brought to the WNBA will evaporate. The league that once relied on Clark to fill stadiums and drive TV ratings is now left scrambling, trying to figure out how to replicate that magic without her. The bigger problem, the WNBA's failure to protect its star. Clark's situation brings up a larger issue, the WNBA's inability to protect its brightest star. Instead of elevating and celebrating her talents, the league allowed dirty plays and unchecked physicality to target her repeatedly. The WNBA should have been doing everything it could to protect its top player. Clark's impact went beyond just stats. She was the face of the league for an entire season. Fans came to watch her, not just because of her incredible scoring ability, but because of her passion, energy, and the way she transformed the game. Yet, instead of receiving support from the league, she was hit with technical fouls for showing passion, branded as a problem player, and was subject to rough, sometimes dangerous play on the court. When Angel Reese and other players threw cheap shots and elbows at Clark, the league did nothing. It's no wonder Clark is fed up. The jealousy factor. Some players have taken to social media, claiming Clark only received attention because of her race. They've argued that because she's a white woman in a league dominated by black athletes, she's been given special treatment. But the numbers speak for themselves. Clark drew in fans, boosted TV ratings, and made WNBA games relevant again. It wasn't about race, it was about talent and star power. In reality, the league's inability to capitalize on Clark's success goes far beyond petty jealousy. The WNBA had a golden opportunity to build its brand around a player with massive appeal, and instead, they let her slip through their fingers. What's next for the WNBA? The league's future without Clark is uncertain, to say the least. Can they recover from losing the one player who brought a fresh wave of attention to the WNBA? Without her, it's hard to see how the WNBA continues to draw the same level of interest. Clark's games were pulling in more viewers than some primetime NBA matchups. If the WNBA can't find another star to fill her shoes, they'll likely see attendance and viewership plummet. But the problem isn't just about finding a new star. It's about how the league treats its players. If the WNBA doesn't change its approach, protecting its stars, enforcing fair officiating, and creating a product that fans want to watch, they're going to struggle to survive, regardless of who's on the court. A league at a crossroads. As the WNBA faces the aftermath of Clark's likely departure, the league is at a crossroads. Do they finally learn from their mistakes and start treating their top players with the respect and protection they deserve? Or do they continue to operate with the same flawed system, losing more stars along the way? Without Clark, the WNBA is headed for a tough season. It's not just about losing a player, it's about losing the one player who brought them into the spotlight. If the league doesn't make major changes soon, they could find themselves back in the shadows, with empty arenas and dwindling TV ratings. So, what's the WNBA's next move? If they want to survive, they better figure it out fast, because without Caitlin Clark, the clock is ticking.